saw this on Instagram as well. A couple of things I've seen on Instagram I put on the pod today. But this is a hypothetical scenario. You have to choose five of these units to defend you. And then there's 20 units here. You have to choose five of them. And then the other 15 units will come and try and take you out. So you have to choose five of these units, and let's go through the list. 750 Neanderthals, wooden sticks, stones, not really a lot of technology here. That's our first group. Next is 500 Egyptian spearmen. Okay. Still very, very old, mostly spears and shields. Next, 450 Persian immortals. This is a special unit with a little bit better armor and a little bit better weaponry. Coming up next, 300 Spartans. Very, very famous. Going on to our 200 Legionaries. Coming up next, better armor, better gear. After that, we have 150 Vikings, followed by 100 Templar Knights. A lot of chainmail, a lot of armor, big giant swords, big giant shields. After them, we have 90 Samurai, some of the most skilled fighters of all time, especially when it comes to blades. After that, we have 80 Longbowmen. So basically, these are classical age era people with bows and arrows. After that, you have 75 Mongol archers as opposed to 80 longbowmen. Mongol archers, obviously from the Mongolian Empire. After that, you have our first basic, not even modern, but our first firearm in the bunch here, which is 65 conquistadors, followed by 50 Swedish musketeers, followed by 40 Napoleonic Old Guard. And then after that, you have 45 grenadiers, basically still muskets, but all around better fighters as well, better supplies. After that, you have 25 cowboys. Now we're starting to get into uh, multiple rounds able to be fired, semi-automatic fire right here with their revolvers. After that, you have 15 trench soldiers. So this is now World War I technology. So you'll potentially have some automatic weapons, but I'm assuming this is mostly going to still be semi-automatic rifles, pistols, that sort of thing. Then after that, you have 10 Wehrmacht soldiers. Now we're getting into submachine guns. We're getting into automatic weapon fire. And you have 10 of those soldiers. After that, you have 5 Soviet Cold War soldiers. So this is 1970s, 1980s technology, weaponry, particularly of Russia. So you're dealing with AK-47s, heavy duty, automatic weapons, and you get 5 of those soldiers. Next up, you have 4 suicide bombers. Now, in the picture, this particular person has an MP5. It looks like a submachine gun, fully automatic. I don't know if they'll have weapons. I'm going to say that it's just the suicide bomber. So it's basically they go out into the battle and they blow themselves up to hopefully inflict as much damage as possible. So a very valuable member, somebody you certainly don't want to go up against. And then finally, the last one is one Navy SEAL. So all up to date, the best technology on the face of the planet, the best weaponry, the best planning in terms of what the mission is, all of this stuff. So if you were to choose 5 of these units to defend you, and if you want to throw down in the comments who your 5 you would choose, who do you think are the best 5, and then also who do you think are going to be the worst 5, like the 5 that you would not want with you because you would get absolutely destroyed. And I'll do both, but first, I kind of wanted to show you. I put this into Chat GPT to see kind of what Chat GPT would say. I know we've been using a lot of Chat GPT today, but let's continue on that theme. So I asked Chat GPT, here's a hypothetical scenario, 20 groups of troops, choose 5 to defend you and the remaining 15. Here are the groups, blah, blah, blah. All right, here is what Chat GPT said. In this hypothetical scenario, I would choose the following 5 groups to defend me and the remaining 15. Number 1, Spartans, 300 Spartans. Known for their discipline and exceptional combat skills, Spartans would be a formidable frontline defense. Next up, 450 Persian immortals, highly trained and well-equipped. The Persian immortals will complement the Spartans in creating a strong defensive force. Number 3, Templar Knights. With their heavy armor and elite training, Templar Knights would serve as powerful and resilient core for the defensive formation. Number 4, Napoleonic Old Guard. The Old Guard was renowned for its unwavering discipline and effectiveness in battle, making them a valuable addition to the defensive forces. And then last, 1 Navy SEAL. A modern and highly trained Special Forces operative, the Navy SEAL would bring contemporary tactics, technology, and versatility to the defense. These selected groups cover a range of historical periods and warfare styles, providing a diverse and well-rounded defense against various threats. The combination of ancient warriors, medieval knights, and modern special forces would offer a balanced defense against a wide array of challenges. So, some good stuff here. However, I see some holes here. 1 Navy SEAL, you're going to only have... you're going against the other 15 of these. So you're going against 5 Soviet Cold War soldiers and 10 Wehrmacht soldiers and 15 trench soldiers. That's 30 soldiers that have weapons, at least semi-automatic weapons. I don't think a Napoleonic Old Guard is going to be able to defeat that. I think, unfortunately, in this case, you got to kind of choose between quantity of just sheer people. Yeah, let's go back to it. Because there are many different factors to choose from in this particular example. Are you going to take the 750 Neanderthals? I don't know. That's 750 troops right there. Even though they don't have the exact best equipment, they have the most amount of just straight pure bodies. So they would be a good defensive force just based on their quantity. However, if I were going to be picking, I would probably say I would take 300 Spartans and then just basically 15 trench soldiers, 10 Wehrmacht soldiers, 5 Soviet Cold War soldiers, and then I might take either the 1 Navy SEAL, or maybe I would add either the 25 Cowboys or the 750 Neanderthals. Now, those final 2 choices for different reasons. Neanderthals, like I said, I don't want to be on the other side of 700 and almost 1,000 Neanderthals. So once you get up against this, if you're not selecting anybody from this top row, 750 Neanderthals, 500 Egyptian spearmen, that's 1,250. That's 1,250 people right there that you're going off against. You think 1 Navy SEAL is going to do anything to that? No. And then if you don't select any Persian immortals, that's what? Almost 1,500 people? Yeah, good luck with that. I don't think 5 Soviet Cold War soldiers will be able to do too much against that. However, I think if you have 300 Spartans and you have 10 Wehrmacht soldiers and 5 Soviet Cold War soldiers, 25 Cowboys, and 15 trench soldiers, you have enough firepower. And I'm speaking about semi-automatic to fully automatic weaponry to take that out. Now, a choice that could be made here is potentially the suicide bombers. You could potentially wipe out a big chunk of the Neanderthals, Egyptian spearmen, and Persian immortals right there, just based off their sheer explosive power right there. Because the only other person that would really have explosives would be the Navy SEAL, maybe up to the trench soldiers. Maybe they might have some small form grenades, but you're not going to get as much widespread damage as the suicide bombers. So that is something to think about as well. But I think your best bet is to choose one unit that has a lot of guys. So you got to choose one person from this bottom row. I would say either the Neanderthals or the Spartans are probably your best bet. The Egyptian spearmen and Persian immortals are probably second there. I'm not thinking too much about the legionnaires. There's just not enough guys. 200 legionnaires versus 500 Egyptian spearmen. I mean, very vastly outnumbered, and the technological differences between the two are not so much that is insurmountable. However, I think the Spartans of this group are the best fighters. Then down that next row, I would think maybe about the archers, but the archers will be absolutely no match against any of the modern era Soviet Cold War soldiers, the Wehrmacht soldiers, or the trench soldiers, maybe even the cowboys. Now, the cowboys don't have a lot of armor, so that is something to keep in mind. Then the conquistadors, the musketeers, Napoleonic Old Guard, and the grenadiers, just too much reload time. They're not going to be very effective. And once we get into these older style of units, they fight in a different way than we currently do today. They don't use guerrilla warfare. They line up in lines and they fire off their muskets. They go ding, 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 ding. 3, 2, 1, boom. And then they stand in a line and they just get completely destroyed by modern day technology. You take an automatic weapon and you can easily wipe out the entire 40 guys, Napoleonic Old Guard, 35 grenadiers, even 25 cowboys. You're dealing with very early semi-automatic technology. Those revolvers could easily break, could easily get destroyed because the technology is just not there, which is also something to think about with the trench soldiers as well. Potential faulty or malfunction in their equipment right there. Something that for the blades is not going to be too much of a factor. Even the Neanderthals, their stuff might break. Their tools that they're going to be using might break because they're made out of wood or whatever. You may have it, but there's 750 of them. So you could overwhelm somebody just by sheer numbers. But I do think your best bet to defeat 15 of these other group with these 4 or with these 5 is going to be my final vote is Spartans, trench soldiers, Wehrmacht soldiers, Soviet Cold War soldiers, and cowboys. Let me know what you think. I don't know. There is no right answer, really. Let me actually sub out cowboys for Neanderthals. I think, now looking at it, total units for me 750 Neanderthals, 300 Spartans, 1,050 soldiers. Then we add 25, 30 other units. 30 modern day era, well, basically 15 automatic weapons, and then 15 people with semi-automatic firearms. I think that would be a more than capable enough to take out any of the other longbowmen, Mongol archers, conquistadors, Swedish musketeers, Napoleonic Old Guard, and the grenadiers, maybe even the cowboys. But I think no matter how you slice it, it's going to be very, very hard for somebody to win this. Now, if you do 10 versus 10, then maybe you're a little bit better shape, but I don't know. Let me know what you think.